What's up, my dudes? Cooper Webb is done, bros. He's out of here. Whoo! There you go, Spitzy boy. 69 points. Okay. Whoops. So, we're going to be doing a little recap on Cooper Webb's crazy crash moment at Nashville in the heat race. Holy crap, bros. Like, I don't even know how to explain what happened, but I'm going to try my best. So, basically, Cooper Webb they take off in that heat race. You know, the tension is all crazy with Tomac and Webb being in the same heat race. And basically, Webb kind of runs it in on Tomac a little bit, like in the second corner. And it basically just looked like Webb was going to, you know, kind of muscle Tomac out of the way. I was like, okay, that was kind of an aggressive, you know, championship type move right there that Webb made on Tomac. He didn't get too crazy in that one corner before he crashed, but he just kind of, you know, made a little bit of contact with Tomac, and then they take off over the Dragon's Back and into the whoop section with Webb being in the lead. And I think Webb was kind of anticipating Tomac on making a similar move or maybe even more of an aggressive move in that next corner than what Webb did on Tomac in the corner before. And I think it kind of spooked Webb a little bit, kind of scared Webb a little bit, and caused him to go over the rut and the berm a little bit in that corner. And he had a real easy fall over. He had a real easy crash as far as what he did. But it was what happened after that actually caused all the damage. Basically, Cianciarulo was right behind these boys, and he had nowhere to go. And Webb kind of just like laid it over, you know, no harm, no foul. But then with it being on the very first lap, you had Cianciarulo coming up right behind him, and he just hit Webb right on the back of the head with his front wheel, like one of the worst run over somebody's head kind of incidences that I've ever seen in Supercross. I mean, it was bad, bro. Like, you know it's bad when the rider has a easy little tip over and then somebody runs into their head and then it basically looks like it knocked them out. I mean, Webb got up like dazed and confused, boys. Like, he was seeing stars, bro. He was seeing some Spincy boy stars, bro. Like, and it wasn't from his crash, you know, him just falling over. It was directly from the contact that Adam Cianciarulo had actually running into the back of his head. It was a real scary moment. I didn't know what happened to Webb. You know, that's how you can break your neck. That's how you can do a lot of things. That's where it gets real dangerous, when the bikes start running into people's heads on the ground and things like that. But yeah, basically Webb just got up all kind of cuckoo, like he knocked himself out, and then they had to cart him off, man. So that's it for the championship for Cooper Webb. Crazy to see it go down like this, but bro, to be honest with you, I noticed something weird going on with Cooper Webb for like the past few rounds. I don't know if any of you other guys kind of noticed that a little bit, but something was just off with him, man. Like, and I don't just mean in his riding, but also in some of the interviews and stuff. Like, he just looked nervous to me. He just looked like that championship was really starting to come down to the wire a little bit, you know. And typically we think of Webb as being like a very mentally strong rider, a guy that's going to be able to take it all the way to the end of a championship. But the real fact of the matter is Webb has not really been in this kind of a battle to the end, especially not with a guy like Eli Tomac before. All those years that Cooper Webb won the 450 Supercross championship, he really wasn't in as close of a battle as he was like this, and certainly not in that close of a battle with Tomac. So I think that added kind of a different level and layer of pressure, and you know, it was kind of getting to that point where Webb was going to just have to make it happen against Tomac, which is not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to be able to just kind of cruise it to the finish and win the championship. He was basically going to have to go out there and win like the rest of the races type shit. And that, again, that's not an easy thing to do against Tomac. So yeah, it just seemed weird to me. The last few rounds, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, but it seemed like Webb had lost the championship a few rounds ago to me, honestly. Like, I could already see it even back then. He had some weird rides in there. You know, he got 5th place in that mutter. He started to lose track of being close enough in the points to Tomac to really make it that interesting at the final couple rounds. You know what I mean? He was already starting to trend in that direction, and with Webb kind of being known as more of the consistent guy and Tomac being known as more of the speed guy, I think it kind of put Webb in a weird situation that he hasn't been in before necessarily for a 450 Supercross championship, where he was going to have to find that speed somewhere. You know, he was going to have to be the guy that you know, really had that speed. I mean, even like I think it was at the Atlanta race, if I'm not mistaken, where Webb and Tomac were kind of back there in like 4th and 5th or whatever. Even then, I mean, it just kind of seemed like, you know, Webb's going to have to pull something crazy out of his ass, like speed-wise, to be able to really win this championship. Like, he was basically on the chopping block 3 or 4 rounds ago, and he didn't really perform that well. I mean, he had some 5ths, and then I know in that mutter where Tomac got 2nd, I think Webb ended up in like another 5th place or something like that. So it really did seem to me like Webb had basically already lost this thing like a few rounds ago, you know, and he just seemed so nervous. Like with some of his interviews, I could just see it. It was like, I could just see it on his face, you know, that pressure getting to him. Palms are sweating that tee out, bro, like arm spaghetti, bro. Like I could see it. I could see it in Webb. Because he knew it was going to be a dogfight. He knew Tomac was going to be going for it. This is probably Tomac's last year. You know, I just think he thought about all that. And then in this particular heat race at Nashville, I think it just all kind of hit a bit of a crescendo or something. Like it hit a crazy point where, you know, he was trying to be aggressive with Tomac, but it was like, it just gets real dicey, man, when you're that close in points for a 450 Supercross championship. I just think he thought in his head, like, damn, like, I just made a pretty aggressive move on Tomac here in the second corner, and if he passes me back, like, that's probably it, bro. Like, that's probably my whole championship right there, bro. So it was almost like I felt like Webb kind of had that mentality of do or die. You know, I'm going to, like, try to run it in on Tomac, but not totally take him out, you know. But then he thought Tomac might try to take him out in the next corner or be really aggressive at least in the next corner. And even Tomac spoke in his interview after that heat race. He said, you know, Webb made a, you know, somewhat of an aggressive move on me, and I was just basically planning on doing the same thing back to him in the next corner. So even Tomac wasn't really anticipating on, like, blowing Webb off the corner or anything, but I think Webb, it just kind of got to his head. You know? Webb got to his head. That's all I can really say. And I just think it brought out, like, all of that sort of, there's that rhythm. I thought I'd be able to hit that at some point here. Supercross 3, bro, I tell you what. This game's got some rhythm skill gap to it. But yeah, I mean, it just seemed like everything kind of caught up to Webb in one moment. And then he just got unlucky as far as Cianciarulo, you know, running into the back of his head like that. But, I mean, that's just what happens, though, when you know, you get kind of... It was weird seeing Webb do that. I don't know how many times I've seen him do that before, where he basically, like, almost takes himself out because it seems like he's scared of what somebody's going to do up the inside of him. You know what I'm saying? He, like, basically just ran himself off the corner of, like, anticipating Tomac's aggressive move in that corner too much. You know, so it was still all completely Webb's fault there, but but that's the kind of stuff that happens, especially on the first lap. You're going to have all those guys right in there behind you like that, and it just kind of caught Webb at the worst possible moment, and nothing Cianciarulo could do, obviously. I know he probably felt bad about that, but that was a scary one, man. That could have been a lot worse. I think Webb needs to just count his blessings that he's still walking, like he's still alive type shit, you know what I mean? That's some real talk, Spency boy right there. Hell with the championship, bro. Like, you can be thankful you're still alive after that one. That's one of those weird, freaky dirt bike crashes and moments that, it could have went way worse. It could have been way worse. Anytime you deal with the neck/head area, and that's exactly what that was, like Cianciarulo just ran right into the back of his head with his front wheel as bad as you possibly could. Like, he basically just used Webb's head as a rut. That's pretty much what Cianciarulo did. So, Webb just needs to be thankful he's not any more hurt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I say, the hell with the championship at this point, bro. Like, be glad you're still alive, bro. So anyways, yeah, it sucks for Webb, but I kind of think the writing was already on the wall a little bit. That was kind of like, man, if you don't try to do this right here, right now, you're basically just going to drift off into a second place in this championship and not really be able to do anything about it, It just seemed like that's what was going to happen anyways, so he kind of went out with the bang, I guess you could say, but yeah, that's crazy, but that's what happens, man. So either way, that's about the recap on it. I cannot believe that happened, but like I said, I thought something might happen just from how kind of weird Webb has been riding and not really being up there at the front like we had seen him earlier in the season. He just so happened to still kind of be in the points fight with Tomac here. So it kind of put him on that, like, you got to make it happen right now if you're going to do it, which turned into the aggressive move on Tomac in that corner, which turned into him thinking Tomac was going to make an aggressive move back on him, which turned into the running over the berm too far and falling down, which turned into the putting him in the situation where Cianciarulo could run into the back of his head like that and take him completely out of the championship. So it's kind of a domino effect there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, crazy to see Webb kind of crack like that. I know a lot of people think he's like one of the most mentally tough guys out there, but when you're battling with a guy like Tomac and it gets down to the end of the championship and the points are on the line, man, anything can happen. I don't care who you are. Like, that's just a whole nother kind of pressure when it's like that, You can even have 2 450 Supercross championships and it's still a whole nother kind of pressure. Like, it's on another level, bro, and that's all you can really say about it. So, either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I'll see you boys on that next one. Later, dudes.